America's premier barbecue radio show. Join your host, two-time world champion, Andy Groneman and friends, as they sink their teeth into the finest grilling, smoking, and barbecue from coast to coast with the industry's leading pitmasters. Stay tuned for great tips, techniques, and products that will enhance your backyard experience by being a part of the Barbecue Radio Network.
Thank you for tuning in and welcome to Barbecue Radio Network, where we share all the tips and tricks from the leaders in the barbecue world. I'm your host, Andy G., along with executive producer T-Bone and my co-host, barbecue product maven, Todd Johns.
Maven.
Yes, you like that?
I like that.
Now he's coming up with new terms for Todd, because how do you really package Todd into any one thing? You can't do it.
You cannot.
You can't do it. So,
Can't do it.
And speaking of people you can't package into one thing, we have a great returning guest today. He is a wealth of knowledge, and he's known as the barbecue pit engineer. He's got 30 years in temp control and fluid dynamics, heat transfer, but pits are his passion. So he founded Smoker Builder back in 2010, and he's got over 200 sets of smoker plans out there. He can talk you through design. He can also build them for you. He builds custom pits in his Super 55-gallon drum kits. Spring is here, so it is time to get all of our cookers ready to roll, and Frank is going to help with that. We got Frank Cox on today. Check out all his cool plans, parts, and kits at smokerplans.net. And you can find him on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Smoker Builder, or over on Facebook at Smoker Builder HQ. And then in our fourth segment, we are going to have a talk with Todd and have him break out the Lucky Charms. And he's going to talk corned beef and pastrami and all kinds of fun stuff, getting ready for St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patty's Day. You got to start planning now. So Frank also can help you stretch $1. So you bought that cheap pit from your brother-in-law. He pawned it off on you. You can't quite get it to work. It's just air gaps and doesn't. Frank can fix it.
Yeah,
Frank
he is the
king
guy
of fixing your crappy, cheap pit that your brother-in-law pawned off on you, thinking you got a great deal, and it's just a headache. He can fix it.
He's been the king of helping you turn what you got into something great, and then helping you move on to the next thing when you're ready to do that. He's the king of that.
Right. Then you flip that back to your brother-in-law after you fix it for him and learn how to, and then you double your money.
That's right. That's right. Well, that is what we're going to do today. So I'm excited to get Frank on the phone with us. But now it is time for our Ask Andy segment, which is brought to you by Plowboy's Hothead Barbecue Sauce, which, of course, you can get at All Things Barbecue. So just head on over to atbbq.com. And don't forget, if you follow us on Facebook, submit a question there. T-Bone will be sending you a Barbecue Radio Network t-shirt if you do that. Right, T-Bone?
I will do that.
And you've got Barbecue XL.
I do.
Which is triple X. And you got Barbecue Medium, which is XL. So whatever your size is,
we got you covered.
We got you covered.
First of all, I have a public service announcement.
Yes.
March 10th is daylight savings time. So if you're sitting there watching the Oscars on Sunday night, March 10th, and you haven't set your clocks ahead yet, you're behind the curve.
Well, I will be partying March 9th because it's the Proud Souls Barbecue and Provisions 1-year anniversary party.
I just saw that in my feed today.
So I will be I'm going to be doing some demos and things there as well. We'll be talking Booth Creek, Wagyu, and all that fun stuff. But it's going to be a great party. So if you haven't been out and you're in the Kansas City area, feel free to come on through.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Just set all your clocks ahead at home before you leave. So when you get home, you don't have to worry about it.
That is fair enough. Well, you got a question for me, right?
I do, from Tom Pavluk.
All right.
And he's in southeast Kansas. And Tom says, hello, my wife and I purchased a greenhouse business in southeast Kansas. While I like flowers, not my passion like my wife. I want to have a section in the greenhouse for a guy, a man cave of sorts.
He's going to grow barbecue grills.
Oh.
We got Frank on today. Frank's going to be able to tell him how to plant the metal to grow the barbecue grill.
I was going to say, won't Frank feel threatened? He says, and this is kind of a cool idea. I having it in a greenhouse, I got to wonder, but He says, I want to get sauces and rubs from all over the country.
He should call it the smokehouse
Yeah, instead of the greenhouse.
instead of the greenhouse.
There you go, Tom. I like that. Yeah. You and wife can go back and forth. She can call it a greenhouse if she wants.
Right.
Her side. And
Well, we were going to
his
have a
side
show
is
today,
smokehouse.
folks, but Todd's had his one good idea of the
Thank
week,
you.
so thank you.
I'm out.
Anyway, he wants to get sauces and rubs from all over the country. Things normally you won't see here. A taste of South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, and on. I'm not sure where to go or how to make contacts with folks from each region to get those regional-based barbecue items. Would you all maybe have any thoughts?
So I do have a couple thoughts. I'm sure Todd will jump in too.
Smokehouse. Call it the smokehouse.
There's Todd's thought.
Todd's still got the same
I only
idea
got
over
the-
there.
I only got one.
He's like Groot. He's like Groot.
Groot. I am Groot.
I am Groot. So first and foremost, there are some online barbecue stores like All Things Barbecue, atbbq.com, and Proud Souls that we just talked about that have a huge selection of products from all over the country. So and just off the top of my head, Rio Valley out of Texas, Smokin' Hogs out of Massachusetts, Luton Booty, Texas Pepper Jelly, Simply Marvelous from over on the left coast, Willingham's, Our Butts Are Smoking. And then, of course,
Wait a minute, let's not forget Banana Jacks in South Carolina.
there you go. So there are, because of how barbecue has just blown up so much in the last few years, lots more small batch products have come to market and are available. So a lot of those online retailers will have access to them. And then my second suggestion would be pick the region that you want to learn about. Google that region, find a few of the places that really pop up everywhere, and then hit their websites, hit their socials, and message those socials, because usually they have somebody following them, and you'll probably get somebody that can connect you to the kitchen and get you rub. Even if they don't sell it, maybe they'll package some up and send it to you, which I've had happen from restaurants before. So get out there and check those things out. But first, I would hit those stores because there is great product out there.
Yeah, I would. First of all, don't skip Canada. So make sure you hit some. There's some good Canadian products as well. House of Q being one of them.
Prairie Smoke and Spice.
Prairie Smoke and Spice. Definitely get some Prairie Smoke and Spice. I would look at some of the barbecue restaurants that are in the regions and look for maybe some of those that are super well known and famous, and get some of those kinds of things. But also look for those that maybe aren't as well known, might be trending, and see if they've got product, and get some of those barbecue restaurants and iconic places on your shelf as well. And those might be able to be purchased through an online retailer, but they might not either. You might have to go directly to them.
Yeah, and I would say some products they do sell through online retailers, and some only get sold in stores. If it's something that is seasonal or particular to them, and maybe it doesn't ship well, they don't put it out in an online
Some
store.
of it's made in-house, too.
Correct.
Some of it's made in-house, and I mean, there's a lot of barbecue joints around central Missouri where they're making their sauce in-house and putting it in mason jars and putting it on the shelf. So there's that too. So I would reach out to some of the places that hit your feed when you're looking at barbecue restaurants.
Yeah, so hopefully that helps you, Tom, and get you at least a start to your new smokehouse instead of greenhouse. And we will definitely get a T-shirt headed your way. Well, coming up next segment, we're going to be talking with Frank Cox, the barbecue pit engineer, and we are going to be getting those pits ready for spring. We're going to be troubleshooting your gas grills. We're going to be fixing your bad pits. We'll dig into all the tips and tricks to help make it easy to work on your pit and get it ready to turn out some amazing barbecue. Feel free to check out his free fire management videos at smokerbuilderu.com. He's got some great free fire management content out there. Coming up next, it's Frank Cox right here on Barbecue Radio Network.
Build a grill, Holstein Manufacturing.
You have a
a better recipe for when you grill. Better ingredients, better cuts of meat, and because you're using a grill from Holstein Manufacturing, well, a better grill. You take grilling seriously, and at Holstein Manufacturing, we make a serious grill. Find your new grill now at HolsteinMFG.com.
We build a grill, Holstein Manufacturing.
Holstein Manufacturing, we build the grill.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
You remember that ball game we went to a couple years ago?
Sure.
And how you didn't have enough cash for 2 hot dogs, so you walked with me on your shoulders until we found an ATM? And then when we got back to our seats, we never saw the hot dog guy again.
Well, I don't remember all that.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
You never know which moments will be the ones they'll remember forever. So take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
My name's Mark. I'm an alcoholic.
Dorothy T, and I am an alcoholic.
For so long, alcohol has sort of been there for me to sort of see me through social situations.
Drinking was more important than anything else. My journey in AA started years ago when I reached the outside limits of my desperation.
I really wanted to quit drinking. I just couldn't stop on my own. And you know, I remember when I woke up on the day that I got sober. I felt something inside of me tell me that I could go to AA.
These people, you know, just gathered around me. That was the fellowship in action in my life.
The moral of my story today is that AA has never let me down, ever.
If I carry any sort of message with my story, it's that, you know, keep coming back and that this thing does work.
If you have a problem with alcohol, contact AA. It works.
If you're a farmer or rancher, chances are you've thought about joining Kansas Farm Bureau. So what's stopping you? Your membership means you have a seat at the table when it comes to the issues that affect your farm. Things like trade, taxes, water, and regulations. The state's largest farm advocacy organization brings your message to policy decision makers at the county, state, and national level. The voice of agriculture becomes your voice and fights for Kansas farmers and ranchers. And a Kansas Farm Bureau membership includes other benefits. For about $50 a year, you'll receive discounts on equipment and supplies, cell phone plans, financial and legal support, home and office supplies, and more. You'll also receive Kansas Living, a quarterly lifestyle magazine featuring real stories of farmers and producers around the state, plus great recipes, crafts, and things to see and do in Kansas. Join us today. Visit kfb.org/farmerrancher to learn more.
Jewelry repair, maintenance, and custom crafting of jewelry pieces is at the forefront of our mission at Diamond Art Jewelry. Hi, I'm the owner, Dustin Rhodes, and I like to correlate jewelry maintenance to vehicle maintenance. When your car is new, an oil change and occasional wash are about all you need. But as your vehicle gets older, it often needs a tune-up and alignment to keep it running smoothly. It's the same for jewelry. A light polish and steam will get newer jewelry back to glowing, but as it gets a little older, it might need a little more care. And that's where we come in. Our bench jeweler has over 30 years of experience and will ensure your prized possession looks and wears like new. At Diamond Art Jewelry, we use the best equipment, skilled local craftsmanship, and quality materials with an average 2-day turnaround on repair work. And just like my 94 F-150, bringing those pieces passed down through generations back to life might be the most satisfying part of our jobs. Trust my staff at Diamond Art Jewelry for your next tune-up or alignment, and let's get that jewelry noticed again. Diamond Art Jewelry, online at diamondkansas.com or stop by 807 Main Street in beautiful downtown Hayes.
Rev up your passion for the open road with Good Times Motorcycle Sales and Service, where every ride is an adventure and every bike tells a story. Why choose Good Times for your next ride? We're not just about bikes. We're about making your Harley-Davidson dreams a reality. When it comes to service, we go the extra mile. Our full service shop is staffed with expert technicians who understand your Harley inside and out. Quality service is our promise. Enhance your ride with our extensive collection of parts and accessories. Personalize your Harley to make it uniquely yours, because at Good Times, we celebrate individuality. At Good Times, we're not just selling motorcycles. We're crafting experiences. Meet my wife, Dina, and myself, BJ, your Harley-Davidson enthusiast, and the heart behind this family-owned gym. Good Times Motorcycle Sales and Service is not just a dealership. It's a family tradition. Join the Rupp family, where every member is a rider and every smile is earned on 2 wheels. Good Times Motorcycle Sales and Service, 1007 Vine Street in Hayes. Come be a part of the family at Good Times. Your adventure starts here.
It
It's your post-rock radio local community calendar. This is what's happening in your town.
Come give blood March 5th from 9 to 3 p.m. and the 6th from 11 to 5 p.m. at Fort Hays State University. For donating blood, you'll receive a $10 e-gift card to a pet supply merchant of your choice. Plus, all eligible presenting donors will also automatically be entered to win a $3,000 gift card. This blood drive will be held at FHSU Memorial Union, 700 College Drive. For more information on this event, go to redcrossblood.org. With your community calendar, I'm Nicole Howard.
American Top 40 with Ryan Seacrest.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Check out American Top 40 this Saturday, 11 a.m. here on Hayes and Great Bend's #1 hit music station, KISS 104.7.
Award-winning Barbecue Radio Network. I'm Andy G, along with T-Bone, our executive producer, and my co-host, American Royal Invitational winner, world champion Todd Johns. And we have a returning guest this week. I'm super excited to have him on here with us. Frank Cox is known as the Barbecue Pit Engineer, and you can check out all of his plans and parts and pits and kits at smokerplans.net. He's published over 200 sets of smoker plans out there for folks that want to build their own cookers. He can build one for you, too. He can do fully custom offsets. He's got the amazing Super 55-gallon drum cookers. He's been building pits for 14 years, and he's got 30 years in temp control and fluid dynamics. He knows how to make just about any style of pit you can imagine, and with all the tips and tricks to make them sing. And again, you can check out his plans at smokerplans.net. And, of course, you can follow Frank on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at SmokerBuilder. Frank, welcome to the show.
Thanks, dude. What an introduction. And you know, every time you start talking, you know what I think about?
What's that?
Oh, shut up. Yeah, that's what I think about.
So you came down here a couple years ago and we said it, and all we watched was Red Green Show. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do remember that. now everybody's going to go look up Red Green Show and go, oh, wow, he really is brainless. That guy really is.
Well, that's where I learned most everything I know about engineering, and we're probably going to get into that a little bit tonight.
We are. You know, we are coming into spring, and I don't know about you, but right now in Kansas City, it was 80 degrees today. I'm in shorts.
Beautiful.
Todd's not wearing pants, but I guess they're shorts.
No, I'm Winnie the Pooh in it today.
So,
sure,
but he's got a tank top on. I mean, it was his day to not wear pants, and he's got a tank top on, and I'm in shorts. So we're headed into spring. Everybody's got to start getting their cookers ready to go. And one of the questions that we see a ton come in is around gas grills and getting your gas grill ready. And, hey, what do I do? It's been sitting all winter.
It worked last year.
Yeah, it worked last year.
I don't know.
And even T-Bone is not immune. He was saying he was having trouble getting his to light. So we wanted to start out just talking about what's the thought process to get that gas grill ready to go and fire up those first burgers for like March Madness coming up. Like, what do we got to do?
Well, absolutely. That's a great question, and that's kind of what made me think about Red Green Show. Was there's got that one episode about the Bath-BQ. For anybody out there that wants to check out some engineering when it comes to gas grills, but that's pretty awesome. So, the biggest thing is, these things sit outside. And most of them do anyway. I'm sure there's some people that have covers and things like that, move them inside, or maybe they're up on the porch or whatever. But, come the cold weather, everything's looking for a place to live, and winter it out. And that's in my opinion, the single biggest thing to look for when you start up your grill or whatever. First of all, not many people, you see where the grease and stuff is and all of that going down, and they clean that part there. But, everywhere there's a burner, there's a venturi and an orifice. And that spot right there is this great little cave for the critter to live in. And so if you're having issues with like burners lighting up and stuff like that, that would be a really good spot to start checking things. But then like also mud daubers and things like that. Yeah. Mud daubers are the worst because they love every little crack. And there's even these little bees or wasps or something I've seen that like will get up in there. They're really, really small, like a sweat bee, but they also pack mud, and they'll pack that up inside like the vent on a regulator and stuff like that. Those are the first couple things I would look for before I fired anything up. Spiders, stuff like that, you know.
And I usually just take a shop vac and hit all of those, you know, front vent ports on the burners and just kind of suck every bit of dust and debris, because, you know, leaves fall during the winter and fall, and they kind of fill that up too. And I don't know, I get nests inside my my covers, so I quit using a cover over mine just because every spring it seemed like I'd have a wasp nest or something in the cover.
Yeah, you're taking the cover off and you're getting attacked. Yeah, that's happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like gas grills are the most subjective to that, you know, and I think the biggest reason is, especially with like red wasps or yellow jackets or anything that builds a big paper nest, mice get in there too, you know. They like to chew on the igniter wires and stuff because those got soybean in the insulation.
Yep.
On the wires and stuff. But but what they do is they get up underneath where that burner pack sits or whatever. And the reason that the burner pack is open is because if in the event that when you light this grill, you attempt to light the grill, gas is coming out, propane specifically, they leave the bottom of that open, or at least there's holes in the bottom pan, so that if in fact gas comes out and the burner doesn't light when you're sitting there holding the thermocouple down or the flame sensor down, then that gas has a place to escape. It always wants to go down. Natural gas won't do it. It'll go up. But propane, we don't want it to cavitate down inside that bottom pan. Otherwise, you could have this event called a delay on ignition, which is when the sparker finally catches the surface and then it all goes, you know.
Yeah, and we've seen that in bigger pits where somebody's using a gas log starter or something, and unless you have really good airflow through there, it just sits in the bottom of that firebox, and it's a bomb when that happens.
Yeah, and you know, I'm sitting here thinking about like these deep fryers, these outdoor deep fryers that you started to see that are kind of like a commercial fryer. You get them at Bass Pro and different places like that.
Yep, the Cajun fryer kind of thing.
Yeah,
the basket
Cajun
fryers.
fryer. Yeah, and some people have those. Those are subject to the same thing with that bottom cavity being open and stuff can get up in there and live. But if you got honeybees, don't kill them. You got to make sure you don't kill the honeybees.
Set them free. Set the honeybees free. So Frank, I've got my cooker and it's lit. I got it successfully lit, but I'm seeing an inconsistent flame across the burners. I'm seeing some blue flame and I'm seeing some yellow flickering. What can I do with that?
Okay, that's a great question, and I'm going to try not to go too deep. I'm going to try to cover.
Well, you've got exactly 1 minute, so.
Okay, I'll go fast. So what you're looking for is look at the flame, and if the flame is tall and yellow, then you don't have enough primary air coming into the burner. And the primary air comes in through that venturi. I'm sorry, I'm telling you wrong. That would be not enough air, too much gas. So if you look at that, if that flame is lifting up off of the burner, like it's a half inch off the burner or something tall like that, then you don't have enough primary air. And then that's going to mean that something's living inside your burner and it's not sucking air in, usually right at the venturi. And then you could also just have soot or contaminants and things like that built up and got on the surface of the burner down in those little pinholes, and that will cause the flame to spread, to jump or skip a section of the burner.
So a little pinhole might be covered a little bit.
Well, we're talking with Frank Cox, and you can follow his exploits all across the socials at Smoker Builder, and check out his amazing plans and cookers at smokerplans.net. More barbecue pit tips and tricks next when we're back with Frank Cox right here on Barbecue Radio Network.
Pressure numbers could change your life. Talk to your doctor about creating a plan that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots.
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
Midwest Energy customers have access to Customer Connect, a quick and easy way to see detailed energy usage online. Just visit www.mwenergy.com, log into your account, and click on the Customer Connect logo. Once logged in, you can view your usage and demand and set energy alerts. Help videos are embedded on the site, or call us at 1-800-222-3121 and we'll walk you through it. Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative, making energy work for you.
Having a baby is supposed to be a very happy and exciting time in your life. No part of our situation was normal. I was only 32 weeks. I was having some pain in my back and in my stomach. Dr. Anna wasn't supposed to be at the hospital that day. She looked at me and told me that we were going to be having a baby today. I thought that Bryler wasn't gonna make it. If anybody were to ask me where to doctor, I would highly recommend Gove County Medical Center and Blue Stem Medical. For more information on obstetrics at Gove County Medical Center, go to www.gcmc.org.
If you're a farmer or rancher, chances are you've thought about joining Kansas Farm Bureau. So what's stopping you? Your membership means you have a seat at the table when it comes to the issues that affect your farm. Things like trade, taxes, water, and regulations. The state's largest farm advocacy organization brings your message to policy decision makers at the county, state, and national level. The voice of agriculture becomes your voice and fights for Kansas farmers and ranchers. And a Kansas Farm Bureau membership includes other benefits. For about $50 a year, you'll receive discounts on equipment and supplies, cell phone plans, financial and legal support, home and office supplies, and more. You'll also receive Kansas Living, a quarterly lifestyle magazine featuring real stories of farmers and producers around the state, plus great recipes, crafts, and things to see and do in Kansas. Join us today. Visit kfb.org/farmerrancher to learn more.
Jewelry repair, maintenance, and custom crafting of jewelry pieces is at the forefront of our mission at Diamond Art Jewelry. Hi, I'm the owner, Dustin Rhodes, and I like to correlate jewelry maintenance to vehicle maintenance. When your car is new, an oil change and occasional wash are about all you need. But as your vehicle gets older, it often needs a tune-up and alignment to keep it running smoothly. It's the same for jewelry. A light polish and steam will get newer jewelry back to glowing. But as it gets a little older, it might need a little more care. And that's where we come in. Our bench jeweler has over 30 years of experience and will ensure your prized possession looks and wears like new. At Diamond Art Jewelry, we use the best equipment, skilled local craftsmanship, and quality materials with an average 2-day turnaround on repair work. And just like my 94 F-150, bringing those pieces passed down through generations back to life might be the most satisfying part of our jobs. Trust my staff at Diamond Art Jewelry for your next tune-up or alignment, and let's get that jewelry noticed again. Diamond Art Jewelry, online at diamondkansas.com or stop by 807 Main Street in beautiful downtown Hayes.
Rev up your passion for the open road with Good Times Motorcycle Sales and Service, where every ride is an adventure and every bike tells a story. Why choose Good Times for your next ride? We're not just about bikes. We're about making your Harley-Davidson dreams a reality. When it comes to service, we go the extra mile. Our full service shop is staffed with expert technicians who understand your Harley inside and out. Quality service is our promise. Enhance your ride with our extensive collection of parts and accessories. Personalize your Harley to make it uniquely yours, because at Good Times, we celebrate individuality. At Good Times, we're not just selling motorcycles. We're crafting experiences. Meet my wife, Dina, and myself, BJ, your Harley-Davidson enthusiast, and the heart behind this family-owned gym. Good Times Motorcycle Sales and Service is not just a dealership. It's a family tradition. Join the Rupp family, where every member is a rider and every smile is earned on 2 wheels. Good Times Motorcycle Sales and Service, 1007 Vine Street in Hayes. Come be a part of the family at Good Times. Your adventure starts here.
Radio Network with my co-host Pitmaster Todd Johns and our executive producer T-Bone, and I'm your host Andy G. And we are back talking with Frank Cox, and we were talking about gas grills, and Todd asked a great question about the burners, and looking at the flames in the burners, I don't want to just kind of stop in the middle of that. Let's go ahead and finish that thought, because we were talking about what could be wrong with the burner itself when you see those different flame styles. So let's just knock that out.
Yeah, so essentially in order for propane to ignite, it has to have the correct air mixture, and that's done in two places. That's what that little funnel looking thing is at the beginning of the burner, that when the gas goes in, it sucks air in with it, and that's called the primary air mixture. And so it's got to get so much air mixed in before it comes up through the burner tube out, like if it's a ribbon style burner or an
H burner,
style,
any of that.
Anything like that. We don't want it to be burning inside the tubes. So that's very carefully constructed and designed to where when the gas comes out, it gets out of the nozzle. It lifts off very short, just a tiny little bit. You can barely tell. It lifts off the surface of the burner, and that's where it gets what's called secondary air. And when that's correct, you'll have a nice blue flame with very small yellow tips on it. And so anything that gets in the way of the primary air going into that burner, or let's say that for some reason some squirrel or something got in there and built a big nest and like blocked off the whole bottom of that cooker, and no secondary air could come in around the burner tube, it wouldn't have enough secondary air, let's hypothetically say. So that would mess that burner up, and that would cause issues with flame lift or the burner not igniting correctly when it first strikes because the air mixture is too rich, things like that. Another thing can cause yellow flames, like Todd was talking about, is if your pressure is too, like if you've got a pressure regulator that failed and that regulator is sending too much gas into the burner, it won't get enough air for complete combustion. It'll be really tall and yellow, and that's going to be a sooty flame. It will still light, but it's lighting around the surface of that, and it's got a very rich air mixture, or very rich gas mixture. So
is there typically
some issues
on residential gas grills? Is there a way to trim that air at all? Is there any kind of adjustment, or it's always going to be manufactured, and as long as everything is still within spec, the holes haven't been obstructed or anything, it's going to work as designed? Is there a trim? I guess going back to my question, is there a trim?
Yeah. No, not really. So what happens is a lot of these burners are what's called low pressure burners. Think of a deep fryer, it's got a red knob on it. Those are high pressure burners. And we say high pressure, it's like 10 PSI. But low pressure burners are less than a half of a PSI of gas. It's typically about 7 inches water column, which is very, very small. And so what will happen is, they make those regulators on purpose to where, since they're a low pressure regulator, you can't turn it up or turn it down to trim it.
Yep.
Now, however, if you're in an urban neighborhood, or your house is more recently built, a lot of heating and air companies, plumbers, even fireplace companies, whoever you bought your grill from, sometimes they'll actually pipe it into the propane or the natural gas coming from that heats your house. And there'll be a quick connect there on that line. Typically, that's already set up for the correct pressure. But if for some reason the guy that did it didn't know what he was doing and that gas pressure was set too high, you would still need to make sure and check gas pressure at the cooker and make sure that if you're having issues that you have the correct delivered gas pressure to the unit. And otherwise you could run into these problems, and that is trimmable.
And most of the time that's just putting the right regulator on the line?
Yeah, most of the time it's just a certified professional that knows what he's doing to do it. And sometimes certified professionals don't know what they're doing.
Andy's out. And Andy couldn't do that job.
Yeah, no,
he's certifiable,
I'm full of a lot
but he's
of
not
things,
certified and professional.
And sometimes I'm
thing.
full of gas, but that is not. I am not good at expelling
you are high
it properly
pressure.
in a
you are
regulator.
not low pressure. No.
And that is why now that we've got that solved for you, Todd, and your gas problems,
that's right.
I want to talk about charcoal pits and some direct cooking. And I know you've got the smoke slinger out. Tell us a little bit about that, because that is awesome.
Yeah, so my buddy Dustin down in Texas has been building these direct heat smokers, we call them, because it's a really versatile pit. So Smoke Slinger, he started that a couple years ago, and he got so busy with everything. Basically, he had to stay in the shop and build, and so him and I started working together on some other projects, which we'll talk about later down the road. That are starting to kind of surface. But Dustin asked me to take over Smoker Builder to take over sales and marketing for Smoke Slinger Pits, and man, it was a no-brainer for me because I love that kind of cooking, and especially with just the versatility of that pit, because you could run it like a reverse flow or an offset, but the fire it's a deep freeze looking sized cooker that's got a lid that lifts up just like a deep freeze, but you can burn wood and charcoal or just wood in that pit, and it's got two different charcoal basket areas in there where you can open, like you can have the fire in the left side and put your meat on the right side and do indirect cooking, or you can do direct cooking straight over the charcoal basket. You can also there's tuning plates in there that you can take and adjust, and that's how you can run like a reverse flow. You can remove those if you wanted to just do like a bunch of burgers and dogs. So it literally is, in my opinion, as close as you can get to have like a one pit that does it all live fire cooking.
And you mentioned that you've got tuning plates and things in there you can remove or move to do what you want. And for anybody that's got their own pit at home that they're playing with right now, that is another thing that you've got a great opportunity to do, is to tweak your cooker to make it do what you want to do. And so when you start to look at some of Frank's plans and what he's got out there, and you had a ton of podcasts on fire management and how to do some of those things. Lots of great information there on that. So
I think that's what the draw is, I think, to this style pit, is how flexible it really is, like you're saying, because you can move those tuning plates. You can completely remove them. You can take the charcoal baskets out, and if you're a hog cooker, North Carolina, or like the Carolinas, south to south, and you want to pitch coal direct, like have a different fire burning, and take a shovel and shovel some coals in there on the bottom of the unit, you can totally do that. It's got multiple levels of cooking. You can do 2 racks, whatever, but so yeah, it's super, just a cool pit. And yeah, there's a lot of other things you can do with other plans and designs we have as well, for sure.
And you and I have done a lot of cooking and teaching on drums, and so you've got the Super 55 kit, which again, if you're looking to really start out into charcoal and play with things, just give us like a 30-second overview on the Super 55s.
Sure. Basically, if you want set it and forget it cooking without electricity, and you want like charcoal, more of a grilling kind of a flavor, this is like the perfect thing for you. It'll run like 19 hours on one single basket of charcoal, and you don't have to add fuel during the cook. You can fit 3 pork butts on this unit, or a good sized brisket, and have room left over for other stuff.
Yeah, you can hang ribs. You can do all kinds of cool stuff in them. And from a learning fire management perspective, they're so easy, and they just maintain. Drum pits are a great place to start. But, thank you so much for being on, Frank. And don't forget, head on over to smokerplans.net and check out all of the parts, plans, and kits over there. Follow all of the smoker building fun on social media with Frank at Smoker Builder on Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok. And you can go over to his Facebook page at Smoker Builder HQ and follow him on Facebook as well. And we were just talking about fire management, but if you go to Smoker Builder U, you can see his free course there that's devoted to fire management. Coming up next, we're going to be talking to Todd about corned beef right here on Barbecue Radio Network.
Hey everybody, this is Toby Keith for RAD. For many of us, drunk driving is something that other people do. Certainly not someone I know. When you see someone who's had too much to drink about to get behind the wheel, ask him to give up the keys. Always choose a designated driver. Music lives, you should too. A public
service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Morning, Mama. How you feeling?
Great, and I'm ready for you today.
I'm checking in on ya. Morning meditation? Check. Dressed and ready to work out?
Check.
Check your blood pressure yet?
And check.
Boom. Great job, Mom. And about those gold earrings.
No, ma'am.
Now more than ever, it's important that we protect our hearts and the hearts of those we love. Monitor your blood pressure daily and help each other stay motivated. Rally your squad to take the online pledge at releasethepressure.org. Brought to you by the Release the Pressure Coalition and the Ad Council.
If you're a farmer or rancher, chances are you've thought about joining Kansas Farm Bureau. So what's stopping you? Your membership means you have a seat at the table when it comes to the issues that affect your farm. Things like trade, taxes, water, and regulations. The state's largest farm advocacy organization brings your message to policy decision makers at the county, state, and national level. The voice of agriculture becomes your voice and fights for Kansas farmers and ranchers. And a Kansas Farm Bureau membership includes other benefits. For about $50 a year, you'll receive discounts on equipment and supplies, cell phone plans, financial and legal support, home and office supplies, and more. You'll also receive Kansas Living, a quarterly lifestyle magazine featuring real stories of farmers and producers around the state, plus great recipes, crafts, and things to see and do in Kansas. Join us today. Visit kfb.org/farmerrancher to learn more.
Jewelry repair, maintenance, and custom crafting of jewelry pieces is at the forefront of our mission at Diamond Art Jewelry. Hi, I'm the owner, Dustin Rhodes, and I like to correlate jewelry maintenance to vehicle maintenance. When your car is new, an oil change and occasional wash are about all you need. But as your vehicle gets older, it often needs a tune-up and alignment to keep it running smoothly. It's the same for jewelry. A light polish and steam will get newer jewelry back to glowing. But as it gets a little older, it might need a little more care. And that's where we come in. Our bench jeweler has over 30 years of experience and will ensure your prized possession looks and wears like new. At Diamond Art Jewelry, we use the best equipment, skilled local craftsmanship, and quality materials with an average 2-day turnaround on repair work. And just like my 94 F-150, bringing those pieces passed down through generations back to life might be the most satisfying part of our jobs. Trust my staff at Diamond Art Jewelry for your next tune-up or alignment, and let's get that jewelry noticed again. Diamond Art Jewelry, online at diamondkansas.com or stop by 807 Main Street in beautiful downtown Hayes.
Rev up your passion for the open road with Good Times Motorcycle Sales and Service, where every ride is an adventure and every bike tells a story. Why choose Good Times for your next ride? We're not just about bikes. We're about making your Harley-Davidson dreams a reality. When it comes to service, we go the extra mile. Our full service shop is staffed with expert technicians who understand your Harley inside and out. Quality service is our promise. Enhance your ride with our extensive collection of parts and accessories. Personalize your Harley to make it uniquely yours, because at Good Times, we celebrate individuality. At Good Times, we're not just selling motorcycles. We're crafting experiences. Meet my wife, Dina, and myself, BJ, your Harley-Davidson enthusiast, and the heart behind this family-owned gym. Good Times Motorcycle Sales and Service is not just a dealership. It's a family tradition. Join the Rupp family, where every member is a rider and every smile is earned on 2 wheels. Good Times Motorcycle Sales and Service, 1007 Vine Street in Hayes. Come be a part of the family at Good Times. Your adventure starts here.
It's your post-rock radio local community calendar. This is what's happening in your town.
Laundry Love, in partnership with United Way of Central Kansas, will be holding a free laundry day at Discount Laundry in Great Bend on Saturday, March 16th from 10 to 2 p.m. The mission of Laundry Love is to wash the clothes and bedding of low to no income families and individuals to help prevent physical and emotional strain that poor health and hygiene places on the under-resourced in our community. For more information, please visit uwck.org. With your community calendar, I'm Nicole Howard.
It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Warrior Woman. She's your mother, your doctor, a teacher, or a friend. She could be anyone. Hot Works of Hayes and My Town Media present Warrior Woman of the Week Pizza Giveaway. Nominate her by going to our Facebook page or by calling 785-222-3400. One winner will be chosen each week and will receive a free large pizza courtesy of Old Chicago in Hayes. Nominate your Warrior Woman today.
Todd and Andy here on Barbecue Radio Network. This segment is brought to you by Holstein Manufacturing. Check them out at HolsteinMFG.com. They have NSF certified cookers and grills, and of course my favorite, the corn roasters. But don't forget, they've got amazing mobile event and catering rigs as well. Check them out at HolsteinMFG.com. Man, you know, Frank is such a wealth of knowledge. I know I said it in the first segment, but he knows his way inside and out of every possible pit issue, airflow issue, whatever.
When it comes to pits, Frank's the shit.
And greenhouses and smokehouses. Todd's had two ideas. We're way past his limit for today, folks. Just let me say that.
I want to talk pastrami and corned beef.
We're gonna do that. Okay, we'll do that in a minute. But first,
don't cancel me yet.
You know, the other thing that we were talking about off air with Frank, and it's another propane thing. So let me just share this. If your gas grill, you turn the valve on and you get no propane out of the burner itself, but you've got a brand new full tank or a 3/4 full tank, a lot of times, if it's not the regulator, it is the OPD valve on the tank. When that tank has an open scenario or it's been tipped over and that valve closes as a safety mechanism, you have to reset it to allow the gas to flow again. So typically, I'll tip the tank completely upside down, unhook it from everything, shut it off completely, upside down, back right, hook everything up, make sure that all of your knobs are off, everything's off, then turn the valve back open, then turn on your grill. You should hear the gas moving, be able to ignite it.
So I actually learned this from you years ago. I don't know if you remember. I was doing a big chili cook for a friend of ours that passed, and we were doing a big chili cook there at one of the parks. And I had my valve to the burner open, and then I opened up the gas valve on the barbecue bottle.
Yep.
That caused that valve to close.
Correct, because there was free flow gas as soon as you open it, and that is the other thing that will trigger that for sure.
Right. So I wanted to make sure to mention that as well, is do not open like the knobs on your burners before you open your bottle.
Correct.
Turn that on first.
Okay, so it's expecting to deadhead.
Yes.
And if it doesn't,
correct,
it's going to initiate the safety protocol.
Correct.
Right. Yep.
That is the goal anyway. So we got that covered, but that means it's time for our All Things Barbecue Product Spotlight.
All right. Well, we're going to feature the Briner bucket. Now, I know you've used those. I've never used one, but I'm getting one because they look really cool. So this is it sounds like it's a lot of nothing, but it's really not. So it's a 22-quart bucket, and it's a white bucket. It's got a lid, and the purpose is to put your brine and whatever it is you're brining. A 20-pound turkey would fit in this. But the cool feature of it is, you know, when you put your meat in the brine bucket, where there's a 5-gallon bucket from Lowe's or whatever.
Yep.
It always wants to float to the top, and you got to put bricks on it or plates or whatever to keep it down. This thing has a locking mechanism, a locking plate that holds everything down. Really, really cool.
Because the key to brining is you have to have full submersion. If you have a piece of the meat that is not underwater,
it's not getting brined.
It's not getting brined,
Right.
and it's not getting the proper concentration of your ingredients in the brine in it. But yeah, those briner buckets come in all sizes. They make a little one that's like a 2 or a 3-quart one too, that is perfect for chicken parts.
So they have the 22-quart, which is $34.95. They have a junior, which is an 8-quart. And a mini, which I just call the Andy, 3.5-quart bucket.
That's the one, the 3.5.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
great for
I
chicken
knew it
parts.
was your favorite. It's fun size. So anyway, briner bucket. So the reason I want to feature that is because we're going to talk pastrami. And if you don't have a paper and pencil, you better get one right now, because I'm going to turn over some recipes here.
Well, and if you don't have a paper and pencil, there is this thing called the interwebs, and we actually drop this to podcast after you've listened to it on the radio.
That's
so
right.
You can just go keep listening to the podcast.
Yeah. And then get a paper and pencil.
Then get a paper and pencil.
All right, so we're going to start with brisket, right? We're going to start with a brisket. I actually have one at home right now that I've been aging for St. Patrick's Day. I've got a 60-day age on it, on a Packer brisket, and it is looking beautiful. So you want to brine, I'm going to give you the recipe, but you want to brine you want to corn your brisket for about 10 days. And if you submerge it in a bucket, you don't need to touch it. It'll just hang out there. If you put it in something flat and submerge it there, you might want to flip it so that everything's making contact. But here's the recipe. Very, very simple, but this is a great corning brine. So for a whole brisket, 10, 15 pounds, something like that, you want a gallon of water, a cup of kosher salt, a half cup of sugar, a quarter cup of pickling spice. And then what I like to do is take a whole head of garlic, knock the top off of it, just chop the top off of it and roast it in the smoker a little bit. And then put that in there as well. And then here's the curing part. You want 2 teaspoons, not tablespoons, 2 teaspoons of pink curing salt.
Yep.
And
now, which curing salt?
Number 1.
Number 1, perfect.
All right, so pink curing salt number 1. You're going to put all that together on a pot on the stove. You're going to warm it up so the sugar and everything dissolves. You want that sugar to dissolve, and it's not going to do it in cold water. And then let that cool and put your brisket in there and let it sit for 10 days. After 10 days, pull the brisket out, wash off all the extra pickling cure and everything, and then pat it dry and let it sit in the fridge for half a day on a rack to let it dry out a little bit. Let all that brine kind of dry off.
And I'm anxious to hear what you do next because I may have a step that I insert for myself.
Okay, cool. So then from there, I just take it and I put my pastrami rub on it and I'll put it on the smoker and just cook it out as a brisket. So my pastrami rub is Plowboy's Bovine Bold.
Heard of that?
Yep. Plowboy's Bovine Bold. But then you're going to mix it with coarse black pepper 3-to-1. So 3 parts Bovine Bold to 1 part extra black
any
cracked
coriander or
pepper.
anything, or do you just let the Bovine Bold do its thing?
Yeah, let the Bovine Bold, which already has some coriander in it, just let it do its thing, but add more of that black pepper to it. So then I'm going to smoke that out and cook it just like I would a brisket, wrap it, all of that, but add nothing to it. Just let it go out like that.
So the only thing I do as an interim step in there that you didn't mention is after I've pulled it out of the brine, I do a 24-hour degorge in just a water bath.
Okay.
And I do that because after I put that pastrami rub on the outside and smoke it and lose some of the moisture, I don't want it to be too salty by the time it makes it to the plate.
Yeah, and I've done that with like hams before. You submerge a cured ham in water for a while and it'll purge some
and it's
of that.
probably not as big a deal because you're using Bovine Bold as your rub base and adding the black pepper to it. A lot of times, like a pastrami rub is going to be heavy on salt, pepper, coriander, and that salt can be a little overpowering sometimes if you're going to smoke it. Now, if you're boiling it like, a traditional corned beef, it's not as big a deal. But that would be my only adder there is if you're going to put it in the smoker, unless you're using Plowboy's Bovine Bold.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that, then you're probably okay. But if anything that's higher in salt content, I like to degorge first.
All right. Yeah, good tip. No, seriously, good tip. So, all right, now I'm going to give you the rest of the components for a great Reuben sandwich.
Perfect.
All right, so we're going to have some Swiss cheese. We're going to have our pastrami that we've made, and we're going to have some sauerkraut. But we need that Russian dressing.
Yes.
And this is not Thousand Island. This is Russian dressing. So very, very simple, and I'll give you the key at the end. So it's 1 cup of mayo, not Miracle Whip.
Real mayo.
Real mayo.
We could argue about Dukes or whatever later.
So 1 cup mayo, high quality mayo, a quarter cup of chili sauce, a tablespoon of horseradish, amp it up if you want more. But here's the key. 1 teaspoon of onion puree. Take an onion, put it in your food processor and process it up, and then put a teaspoon of that in there. Great Russian dressing.
That sounds excellent. Well, we want to thank Frank Cox again for joining us today. You can check out his website at smokerplans.net. And don't forget to head on over to ATBBQ and pick up some Plowboys Hothead Barbecue Sauce. We'd like to thank you all for joining us. Next week, we're going to be talking with Mike Starr from Blazing Star Barbecue. For T-Bone, Todd, and myself, thanks for listening. And we'll keep the pits lit here until next time on Barbecue Radio Network.
Grill, Holstein Manufacturing. You have a better recipe for when you grill. Better ingredients, better cuts of meat, and because you're using a grill from Holstein Manufacturing, well, a better grill. You take grilling seriously, and at Holstein Manufacturing, we make a serious grill. Find your new grill now at HolsteinMFG.com. We build a grill, Holstein Manufacturing. Holstein Manufacturing, we build the grill. Remember the time you almost volunteered to work in a soup kitchen? Or when you almost visited the Veterans Hospital? Or when you almost brought dinner to your neighbor with AIDS? Remember all the times you almost helped, almost gave? Well, it's only human, this almost giving. But the truth is, it's the same as not giving at all. Don't almost give, give. Visit our website at don'talmostgive.org. A message from the Ad Council.
Throwback.
This is two-time World Barbecue Champion and host of Barbecue Radio Network, Andy Groneman, and I want to invite you to listen to America's #1 barbecue radio show with myself and my co-host, four-time World Barbecue Champion, Todd Johns.
That's right, Andy. Barbecue Radio Network leads the way with Barbecue Hall of Fame guests as well as other world champions dedicated to raising the game for backyard grillers and smokers everywhere.
Barbecue Radio Network gets cooking at 10:30 Sunday mornings on this MyTown Media station. Still very warm today with mostly sunny skies, that breeze out of the southwest gusting to about 30 miles per hour. Look for the high to top 71 this afternoon. Clear skies overnight, still pretty chilly. By daybreak, we'll get down to about 36 degrees, and not quite as warm for Monday, but still, for early March standards, not too bad. Sunny and 60 degrees expected for Monday's high. I'm meteorologist Jared Cirillo.
Midwest Energy customers have access to Customer Connect, a quick and easy way to see detailed energy usage online. Just visit www.mwenergy.com, log into your account, and click on the Customer Connect logo. Once logged in, you can view your usage and demand and set energy alerts. Help videos are embedded on the site, or call us at 1-800-222-3121 and we'll walk you through it. Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative, making energy work for you.
Having a baby is supposed to be a very happy and exciting time in your life. No part of our situation was normal. I was only 32 weeks. I was having some pain in my back and in my stomach. Dr. Anna wasn't supposed to be at the hospital that day. She looked at me and told me that we were going to be having a baby today. I thought that Bryler wasn't going to make it. If anybody were to ask me where to doctor, I would highly recommend Grove County Medical Center and Houston Medical. For more information on obstetrics at Grove County Medical Center, go to www.gcmc.com.
Hello. You are listening to